Hi, so I thought I'd show you some pages from one of my oldest sketchbooks. The first page was this one, and this was painted in May 2020. It's a bit too large to show you in its entirety, but this was all watercolour to start with. Then I used ink, water-soluble ink, which you can see here, where I drew the features of the face and just the outline of the body. And then I added more watercolour and some white gouache. Then on top of that I put some acrylic, which you can see here and in the face. But I like the way that the water-soluble ink bleeds into the paper. You can see that mostly around the eyes and around the mouth. And then I used one of these. This is the yellow one. I obviously used the blue one here. This is watercolor, water-soluble ink as well. And these are beryl, and they come in broad and handwriting. So this is the finest one. And the ink is water-soluble, and you get these nice effects like you see here and here. I also used a red one there. Then I used some gold ink and some pencil. You can see some pencil marks here. And then I used this. This is Tulip Metallics, and this one's in gold. It also comes in silver, bronze, and you can get other colours, and also a glitter one. And I think it was mainly manufactured for fabric. It's like a sort of, if I can show you a bit on a piece of tissue here. It's like, oh, it won't come out. It needs the end cleaned out, but it comes out like a plastic paint, a bit like acrylic when it's thickest, and you can get some nice textures here from it. You can make all kinds of shapes. I've used it here and here, just using it as a few spots to add some texture. So the next page is this one, and this one is acrylic, watercolor and pen and ink, and some Posca pen there. This one I really overworked. This one is mostly black gouache, Posca pen and gold ink and some beryl, and I've missed out this one, which was also overworked. I threw everything at this. I think there's not a material that I have that I haven't used in that one. And then there's this one that I really like. I've called this Winter is Coming, and it's got some nice watercolour passages there. It's mostly watercolour and pencil. Then we're on to February 21, and this is actually collage. So I laid down some paper and just went over it with some acrylic paint, and you can see here some text here and here. There's an old stamp there. There's a post office franking there. Then I painted this figure on a separate sheet of paper and put that down, and added some layers of paint in Posca pen, and then added the bird. This lighthouse was actually, I think I painted that on, I think that was music sheet, and then pasted it into the book. And I wrote some text just kind of outlining how I felt about being in lockdown, because we were in lockdown at the moment. And I'll read it out to you. It says, "Will we ever be the same again? Will we smile in the street again? Mouth hidden, the eyes have to express all. When home feels like a tower in the midst of an ocean, no boat and no door or ladder to help you reach the outside, where others meet and walk if only they can." Then these two are mixed media. In fact, virtually everything in this book is mixed media. Again, Posca pens, ink, acrylic, gouache, more gouache in this one, some acrylic, and then I've used the Tulip Metallics here, and just placed some spots there, and then went over it with acrylic paint. this is a couple of experimental pieces painted on old water lining paper, wall lining paper, and you can see the texture here that I got with some Neocolor pencils. And then there's this one and this one. This was actually drawn on location in some local woods and in pencil. Then I went back and took some photographs and came back and painted this from the photograph in watercolour. And I actually turned that one into an acrylic painting on canvas. You can see that I've made a few changes to the composition. So that's on acrylic box canvas, and that's in my shop at the moment. Then we have the next page. That's just a drawing with pencil. Then there's a few landscape trials. This was actually watercolour pastel and also oil pastel, and I put some sheets of tissue paper in here, and that actually soaked up some of the pastel so it's not tacky. And more trials. This piece was actually a drawing I did, and I turned that into an oil painting, which is now in my shop. This was a character that I'm making a zine with, and this was drawn on September 23. I'm yet to finish that zine. Then we've got some more oil pastel trials, and then this piece was an acrylic painted from a photograph I took while we were on holiday in Cornwall. I painted this in 2024, but I think we went on holiday way before the lockdown. And I like some of the passages here. I like the rocks in this bit here, but I ruined it by the clouds. I really don't like the clouds. So I tried again, but this time with gouache. And the gouache is much nicer, I think, apart from the rocks. I prefer the rocks in the other painting here. But the sky is much nicer in that one. And then the last page I want to show you today is this one. This is a design for a textile that I made, and there's quite a few drawings of textile designs in here, and I'll show you those again another day. But I turned that into this textile, and it hangs up like this. So that's also in my shop. And so I'll show you those designs the next time. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through my sketchbook, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.